J Moore, the very best reviews. Tell them none can contest, we gon'
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the show. Appreciate y'all for coming through. We about to chop it up about this last episode of BMF, season 4, episode 2, first reaction. And I'm gonna tell you, I like the episode. Another good episode. I liked how they showing how everything played out. It's kind of interesting in a way because it make the police look like the bad guys. Although them red dogs, boy, they was dirty, wasn't they? It remind me of that Goody Mob song off of their first album, Soul Food. Them dirty red dogs done hit the dough. At least they beat Brian, old big head there, right? Bah. So this episode, my first reaction, I enjoyed it. Like I said, we see a few things go down. We see that car, the gift that Meech gave his little sister, end up causing a lot of problems in the family. And one thing that did kind of, I don't know, hit home a little bit with me is Nikki. She did kind of chickity check yourself before you rickety wreck yourself. I don't know. She was right. I had a big disagreement with what she said in the sense that you can't say that and still live under her roof. You can't be talking about how grown you is and you still living with mama. Now, if mama was living with you, that's different because she probably wouldn't be listening still. Anyway, Charles said you got all that grace and everything for them church folks. And it is a lot of people that can do a lot for the church and a lot for the people. But when they come to their own family, they can't show up. They don't have no time. Blase, skippy, whoop-de-whoop. So you know how that go. And that's something that sometimes rub a lot of people the wrong way about the thumpers, the Bible thumpers out there, you know. But who knows? Maybe this is type of thing, you know. I'm looking at life really, as long as you can survive it, as a bunch of learning experiences to a certain extent. I'm gonna say one more thing about this, a first takeaway before I get into the comments. And you know who the real drug dealers in life are? Really, truly. And I was just thinking about this because somebody tried to make some kind of smart remark about being a drug dealer or whatever, or like, people being a drug. You know who real drug dealers are? Your friends, your girlfriends. You see at the end, Meech popping pills, he taking ecstasy. It couldn't have been no drug dealer on the corner in the alley talking about, hey, you wanna buy this? Hey, come on, try one for free. Here, give me your number. Hey. That's like a myth. The truth is, most people use drugs because it was introduced by a friend or a loved one or somebody they was dating, and then they may continue after those people is no longer in their life. But those are the real drug dealers, in my opinion, in life. I never in my life saw a person selling drugs, so-called drug dealer. I think these are more like drug availability locators or something is more like it. But anyway, I never seen a drug dealer come like give it away for free. Try this, man. Just try it once and then come back. This is a free sample. They ain't never let you some woman, but you already a customer. Like people are already customers that get a free sample. Like I never saw them trying to get customers like they at the food court at the shopping mall or something, you know. Anyway, with that being said, I done forgot my bottle of water now. I'm already needing a thirst quench. Let's see. Let me get back to the top right quick of some of these comments. Skyway, I'm gonna need my glasses, man. It's too early in the morning, I guess. I can't see that good. I'm getting old, y'all. Man, this is like HD for real. Skywater 25. Yo, Stephen Harris. What's good, Steve? Y'all like this episode? What's good, DeMarcus Vaughn? Said it was a solid 9. I enjoyed it too. And this ain't the type of show where it's a bunch of explosions or bang bang or whatever or Star Wars type effects, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Brian actually throw a new dimension in this a little bit to me. Relocating. He's something else, ain't he? Steve, you give it a 9 also? Okay. DeMarcus Vaughn, you say Charles working back at the Ford plant. Man, Lucille can hit below the belt, can't she? How is it Charles' fault? Why is she talking about child support? I'm so glad he said they grown. Child support. Blaming him for what Nikki doing? Oh man, she was on one. Y'all let me know if I'm tripping. I know I'm a little behind on the comments. I'm about to go on down and see what y'all think, but I think she was on one with that. That ain't had nothing to do with Charles. Charles trying his best. Just because he, slipped up with Mabel don't mean he wasn't there for his kids. I mean, how long would that ain't even been that long? What? She tripping. And he didn't pound his good axe, his good guitar. Damian Kenny, you say, guess what? I was just watching the phone charger case review you made a video on. Damn, man, that was a minute ago. DeMarcus Vaughn, Jay Pusher is a snake. Yeah, they show at the end. That's the thing, man. In this game, this is true. When you at the top level like that, you can be dealing with a lot of high ambitious people. Which, another take I got on this is that Meech is very charismatic. Meech is a likable person. I would like to work with Meech. I would like to hang with Meech. I would like to get money with Meech. I ain't gonna lie. Especially at that age. Terry feel like a job. It feels stressful. It feel like work. I wouldn't want to get work with T. I mean, yeah, you can make money and this and that, but it feel kind of stressful, And Jay Pusher, when you at the top, a lot of people want that money. They want to be the top dog. They want to throw the parties. They want the strippers making it bounce and thunderclap on them, Hope is Lee, good evening to you, P. Bronson. I believe Nicole was always that type of person that wanted to say something back but just held back. You talking about Mom Dukes. I agree. She's always kind of did it in a way. Remember what she did at the dinner table that time? So, and they have always came down on her as if she was Meech and Terry. It seemed like everybody always has. But I guess it's kind of hard with brothers like that. You would grow up in their shadow, I'm guessing. But in all the things they did, I'm sure the parents was working extra hard on her, which is why they should give her credit that she does have a scholarship and she her own person now and things of that sort. So I get it. I can understand her frustrations, but you know, my main problem with what she said and did with the parents is that she had to go back upstairs to her room, though. So, like, you can't say all that and then you ain't paying no bills and you still living in your childhood bedroom. That's my problem. But if it was yours and you can go to your place or whatever, hey, what it is, right? P. Bronson, she was right. Mama acting very high and mighty since she has become pastor, going in on everyone like her poop did not stink not too long ago. That's facts. That is facts. And like I believe and I agree with what she said. And sometimes, like the old saying is, say what, from the mouths of babes or whatever. So sometimes that's how it is, But again, you know. All right, let me go on down and catch up on some of these comments. What's up, B? How you doing, mama? What's good? P. Bronson, you say most dealers test the drugs before buying them from someone. Well, not exactly. It depends on what the drug is and who the dealers are. Because some dealers, at least in my day, which was around this time, a little later back in the day, and I ain't saying my day like I was Big Meech and nothing like that, or moving stuff and doing this and that. But in my day of being on around and knowing and doing whatever, some people, most people that I knew actually, would have somebody that already used as a tester, and they'd have them test, and they would be happy because they get to do and use whatever for free, and then they'll let you know whatever. So, but maybe nowadays, because in modern rap and everything, who knows? Maybe they all testers of their own product. Things change. So, but back in my day, you ain't want to get high on your own supply. That means don't use it, as well as, not only don't use your own stuff and lose money, because it's, yeah, that too. But that don't mean go buy it from somebody else. I ain't get high on my own supply. I bought this supply from Mickey, and so now I'm getting high on his supply, and I saved mine to sell. That's not what So it's like, but I guess people may not do it that way no more. But you don't use what you're selling. DeMarcus Vaughn, you say B. Mickey turned down the money from Terry, said that he earned the money. That was whack, in my opinion. We saw that he really need the money. Baby over there playing in the sandbox, about to have some sand up her tubes. Baby over there playing by herself in the sand. And take that money, man, and say you still want to earn more. Pride is a powerful thing in human beings, ain't it? We have a lot of built-in issues that we all suffer from. I know I have pride and things, and I think maybe we shouldn't have so much pride in certain things when it comes to certain issues. I know I had to swallow my pride overnight. That was hard, but you know, if I wouldn't have, to a certain degree, who knows what would have happened. I'm not saying you can't be too prideful and not just give up and just let people do whatever, say whatever. Don't be a doormat. But at the same time, you can't cut off your nose to spite your face did in life. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. DeMarcus Vaughn, you say Lucille is trash. Lucille? Who is Lucille? Y'all gonna have to hold on a second. I guess I am getting old, man. This ain't even a spot read or advertising, but this little thing right here, man, this actually be helping some. One thing on neck right here is hurting. Anyway, Lucille is trash. Who is Lucille? What's that say? Lucille need therapy. Oh, Lucille. Lucille. Damn. Yeah, you ain't lying. I think she a little jealous as well, Lucille. Because, I mean, she was working at Wendy's. She had 3 kids and married to somebody. And she probably would like to had a chance with maybe Dr. Mario or whatever. And so, and now we see Nicole got a scholarship to college, no kids, and about to live her life. And so maybe in some point it could be a little jealousy, or it could also be as a parent that you working so hard to get her to where you wanted her to be, and she not listening could jeopardize her future, and you didn't want that. That's a possibility too. It cannot always be jealousy when it comes to one of your kids. You kind of strict or whatever, want them to succeed. But you got to also understand, hey, part of life and growth is making your own mistakes too. But you don't want to make big mistakes you can't come back from. But she did make a good point. It ain't her fault that Meech gave her that car that was stolen. She didn't know. So anyway, woo. I needed some agua tonight. All right. I'm gonna also put in the link if anybody want to talk about this episode. I'm gonna go ahead and do my MOSCORE review, and then we can chop it up with the link. All right. So my review. Take this off so I can see what I'm saying. I can't see a damn thing now. That's one thing I don't like about glass. As soon as you take them off, it's like your vision is worse. Anyway, this episode, I enjoyed it. It had a few high points and low points. You know what I'm saying? And I think what happened with Meech, it does show he's clever. He's thinking. But one thing I don't like is that he kind of dips to Atlanta and he doesn't tell or let people know what's going on back in the D. And Terry, I don't know. He is very business oriented. I will give him that. So this episode, boy, we see Magic City, Atlanta, hot Atlanta, boy. Meech got him a couple things down in Atlanta in the strip club. He got a new boot thing, and he was happy to be back in the A, up in the A, yeah, up in the, and I ain't mad at him, but we see that he trying to get things together in Atlanta. He waiting on the shipment. He finds out that his sister, because they're in the beginning, she in the back seat of my Jeep. Let's see the episode. That's an old song. LL Cool J. Anyway, she in the back seat with her boo thing, talking about, yeah, a lot of my friends, they breaking up with their girls so they can be single when they go away. You want to be free? You want to be single? Nah, I want to be with you. She like, I'm ready. Yeah, shorty had that game. Now he could be like, oh, I want to be single. I realize I need to explore more. No, that'll be dirty. But Nicole smashing in the back seat of the Honda, and one thing we see is the police knock on the window. It's all steamy. Normally they may have got a ticket, But because the vehicle was stolen, it caused a chain reaction. She ended up getting locked up, and they trying to figure out who gave her the car, the police. Now, one thing that is interesting, I'll make it quick, is something like that did happen to me when I was about 18, 19, and I was in the car with somebody, and the police pulled up just like that, except a couple differences. One, I always have 10 on my windows, and that thing right there delayed, and they came to the window. Well, they didn't come to the window. They pulled up and was flashing the lights. And then I pulled my clothes on real quick and jumped out the car and walked over there. And then he gave me a ticket after I gave him an ID and things, and I left. He never got out the car. So I was glad he was lazy that night, because when I got back, she couldn't even get them tatas back in the bras. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, we see Nikki go to jail because of that. They trying to squeeze some information up out of her. She hold it like a G, although she did slip up saying it was her brother. She should have just said nothing at all. But she gave a fake name when the cops put down the two pictures. Said choose one. Which I know she was like, dang, she gonna have to sell out. She about to snitch. And so she held it down. Now, one of the problems was they broke, which, I guess Terry either don't break them off or Meech don't break them off, or they don't want the money from them, which I can get it. But, your sis locked up, your daughter locked up, pride. But Charles said if they took the money and it was traced, they could be in trouble, I guess. I guess they don't have no savings, nothing going on. Anyway, we see he had to pawn his guitar. She done hit him below the belt, dirty blows, made him feel bad, told him you better go beg on his hands and knees to go work at the plant, because he got hit with the dirty news that he can't go on tour because one of the people had to have surgery on their throat, on their vocal cords. So Charles hit below the belt. He ain't got the money coming in like he used to. He ain't getting no honey at home. He ain't getting no Miss Maybelline. And now he getting hit below the belt. And at the end, we see him getting that damn uniform back out, which I'm surprised he was able to get the job back. That was a lucky thing, actually. But I guess, I don't. That's why I still don't get about this show, is that those were good jobs back then. Those were real good jobs back then, working for GM, Ford, all of that stuff. It's because of the amount of money they was paying people back then that made them ship their jobs overseas, complaining that they ain't going to be able to afford it. Anyway, we see that Miss Lucille went in the church and had her first sermon, and she was, amen. And B. Mickey came for a blessing or two. He was ready to take money from the church. He about to take that church's money, but he ain't going to take money from Terry. I don't get it. I guess that's clean money. He didn't want dirty money. He going to earn his own dirty money. I'll accept clean money, but dirty money, nope. Nope, I will not take dirty money unless I earn it. Anyway, we see that he was at church. Lucille did have a lot of grace and sympathy for him and his kid. Charles was like, he was talking with B. Mickey, that's why I work 3 jobs. I know it's tough. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Don't come to me, basically. And here come Lucille, little Lululemon over here. She had a lot for him. But when it came to her own daughter, Charles had a point. Anyway, overall, Meech at the end, we see, was going to check on the cars, wrapping this up overall. And while he there at the dealership, because we saw Brian earlier in the episode trying to investigate on Meech while he down in Atlanta relocating, and the Red Dogs pull up and beat his ass. They later find out he a cop, investigate him some. Meanwhile, Meech at the dealer about to check why his vehicle's coming back hot. He didn't want the vehicles hot. And then Brian coming through, so he let old girl know, don't say nothing. He realized Brian down there on the case. He tell Loco rearrange the next shipment. Them dirty red dogs had info about this plane. But Bryant, because after this little head ass whooping, he got kind of buddy with one of them. This officer, the Asian officer, he was still a hot boy. Nevertheless, sometimes when you a hot boy, you get burned. You got boinged. They over there in the car. Brian tell him to, I don't know how people wear glasses all the time. Don't this stuff bother your nose? Anyway, Brian telling them, chill, don't go ahead and make a move yet. Hot boy over here, he ready to go ahead and make a move. They end up killing these damn Colombians, destroying them, overkill, and one of the officers accidentally shoot old hot boy. And Meech and them got to avoid all of it. So Meech is a smart dude, charismatic, man. I give it to him. Bryant, he like a dog with a bone, though. You know what I mean? I don't know about Bryant. I wonder if Bryant really did have something to finally do with taking them down. It would be interesting to see. Anyway, let me go ahead and get into my MOSCORE rating, and then we can go ahead and chop it up. I'll see y'all in a second. Break it on down. All right, the MOSCORE, my rating system, non-biased, 4 simple categories, 25 points each. Here we go. The visual cinematography for the episode, as usual, it was good. It was on par for presenting a show, modern show, but trying to put it into that era that it was taking place. They did have a couple good, interesting things, like, for example, the meeting with Terry and the connect with Markeisha. Seeing Terry still kind of got some feelings for Markeisha. He said, look, but don't touch. Anyway, I wonder, there's a lot of moving parts in this show. But overall, I would say I would give it a 20 out of 25. It was good. Nothing spectacular, but it was good. I would give it a storyline and plot. I think this is interesting. I'd enjoyed the episode. I like to see how they operated. It does make me wonder how it all came tumbling down. It seemed like you could only, I guess, evade the law for so long. But Meech is very clever. In this episode, although he messed up for his sister, it wasn't intentional. He wasn't sloppy. Somebody else was. But it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Unfortunately, it may have burned the relationship with his sister. We also see how that episode between them and that car also may have gave an awakening and opened up some eyes with their mama about being high and mighty. It also gave a lot of humbling experience to Charles had to go back to work. He had to give up his dreams. And next time he see his friends, they're going to be like, I thought you was on tour. You working back at the plant. Oh, you full of it. You lying. And that always hurt. That's always humbling. But you know what's worse? Not working, not doing nothing. Some people nowadays just avoid going back because they don't want to be facing the fact that whatever they thought didn't work. But I think what's worse is not thinking nothing sometimes. You got to try. Anyway, I would give this episode, I give it a 21 out of 25. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. We got special effect, makeup, costumes. There's not really any special effect, makeup, or costumes for this show, but I will give a very high rating in the birthday suit department. You know what I mean? Them birthday suits was on point. All right. Boy, Shorty was making it. Boy, Shorty was killing it at the club. So with that, I will give them a 23 in the special effect, makeup, and costume department. And last but not least, entertaining fun factor. I mean, it wasn't the most entertaining show or episode, but I enjoyed it. It was interesting. I like how they letting us know piece by piece what really happened in Mexico, which it seemed like it was a lot. Meech and them had to throw some deer guts to keep the wolves away. T was complaining. Seemed like Meech, who he say he didn't seen God and all kind of things. I don't know. Seemed like that experience really changed him and maybe made him and T see the world differently even more. Overall, I'm gonna give it a 21 out of 25, which bring my MOSCORE to 85, which is an 8.5. I give it an 85, an 8.5. And, you know, 85, you know, always give a 0.5 margin of discretion. So if a person feel like it was a 90 or a 80, I could see that. But I say an 85. I mean, I could agree with that in a sense. Either way, a 80 or a 90, I could see the case for that. That part with Lucille and Nikki, I think is probably the most memorable part in this episode. Then I would say the dirty red dog getting popped. They put down that dirty red dog. But overall, it was a good episode. It was enjoyable. I think that scene with Nikki and Lucille, that was really good acting. And I think that would be a memorable scene from this season that people would be like, oh yeah, remember when Nikki told her this? Anyway, yeah, this episode, I think it was fire. I enjoyed it. They've been doing a good job overall with this season, and I'm here for it. I'm interested to see what goes down. I mean, we know it lasted for a lot longer, and a lot more years. So I'm wondering how long was Brian working on this case, and does he really blame? He really does blame Meech for what happened to his kid. I mean, that's crazy to me, but sometimes people deal with things in their own way, deal with reality and circumstances differently, you know. Anyway, Bryant, I wonder what's gonna happen now that they lost the old boy that was with him that was on 10. Maybe they'll have the other dude that came to talk to Bryant and was saying come work with us. Maybe he may be in charge of the unit. Brian may be his second in command, And who knows, maybe they do some damage. But we know they still got another 10 years of work to do, at least. So who knows? Y'all let me know what y'all would rate it in the comments. Let me see. Hope is Lee, you said a solid 8.5. I mean, yeah, that's that's what I came up with it pretty much. 85, which is 8.5, and divided by 10, and there you have it. Or always, anyway. This was a decent episode. I've been up too long, man. I kind of lost a little energy around this time, y'all. But it was interesting how Meech, when he was talking to Nikki, he was like, "What's the name of that concert promoter?" You know what I'm saying? That concert promoter. They gave you that concert tickets. Hey, Meech, he always know how to talk proper to get the information. Although Nikki, it seems, is tired of his mess. And it seems she kind of being honest and calling people on their stuff. But at the same time, always keep in mind your place and position in life when you calling out people on their stuff. That's one thing you got to keep that in mind. Can't call somebody and check them on something and then they can say, "Get out." In my opinion. Guess you could. Maybe they won't. I don't know. I wouldn't try it. Anyway, this episode and this season is going pretty good. I'm enjoying it so far. I know it's only been 2 episodes, but it's off to a good start. And I'm wondering what the rest of the season holds. I know it's going to break Charles' heart when his friends and people see him back at the plant instead of on the road making dreams come true, especially after he was bragging about everybody he saw. Even though they squeezed it out of him, he didn't really want to talk about it. But you done did it now. You didn't fail for the okie doke. So, anyway, I know he gonna hurt when you see that. But hey, man, I know some people that was into the music business and things changed and they had to pick up jobs and do things. People seen them that knew them from the music business and they were saying, "Hey, what happened? You must hate this, whatever." And yeah, it don't feel good to not be still doing what you want to do, but at the same time, it feels a lot better than not having or doing anything and not being able to provide or take care of yourself and your family, and that's a good model to have, in my opinion. Then I'm too proud to do anything. I'm too proud to not have anything, to not do anything. So I got to do something, have something, make something happen. So, anyway. All right, y'all. I'm going to wrap this one up. It's been a late night, but deuces. I'll see y'all on the next one.